bead friends, I'm back with a quick Miyuki tutorial. It's actually a revisitation of one of our original tutorials for the Flora necklace that you've maybe seen or encountered on our channel. It's from last summer. This is the original project. And I've actually made a maxi version of the necklace, as you can see. I was actually making it just for me and I was wearing it in the shop. But a lot of you asked me for the tutorial, since it is slightly different from the original, how I make it. So I thought about putting it up on the channel since I kept explaining it to all of you. So I think this will serve best to everyone that wants to try it out. It's pretty easy, and since it has all of these strands that separate the flowers, it's actually quicker than making an original Flora necklace with the smaller beads. So for today's project, you will need size 10 beading needles, thread, Miyuki thread, Fireline thread in 0.15 millimeters, so just like the one in the original. And then you will need Miyuki size 6 round beads in 4 colors. So you will need, we'll be making this version of the necklace. So you will need 3 colors for the flowers. I've picked orange, red, and green. And you will need 3 grams of each color. And then you will need a 4th color, which will be the strands separating your flowers. And for this, you will need actually 18 grams of the color for the strands. Then you will need some Swarovski crystal round size 11 millimeters round beads, like these ones. You will need 14 of these. And then you will need, for the clasp or for the closure, some round size 8 Miyuki beads in the color that you prefer. I tend to use the same color as the strand, so here you can see it in black. Then a clasp, so jump ring and lobster clasp. And that's it. That's all the material you will need for today. If you decide to make the necklace, instead of using 3 colors for the flowers, like I've done in this version that we will finish off today together, or in the crazy version where I've made it using yellow, turquoise, and blue for the necklace, but you decide to use only 2 colors, like for this version in the neutral version with the gold and silver and white, then you will need 6 grams for the color of the flowers, since they're less, so you will be making more flowers for each color. And again, the strands, 18 grams is more than enough. For the crazy version, where I use 2 colors for the strands, just take 9 grams each for each color, and you can alternate them, and that will be more than enough. I placed all the materials that I will need on my mat. As you can see, I've already prepared my necklace, so I'll be just showing you how to make 1 flower and the end of the necklace to finish it off. That's why it's a quick tutorial, since it's very similar to our original one. But first off, let me explain how you have to start off. So start by cutting 4 feet of thread, thread your needle, and then add a stop bead to your thread by leaving 5 inches of tail thread that you will close off at the end. Then add 30 beads of the color for the strands that you're going to use, the size 6 seed beads, like I've done here at the beginning of my necklace. And then you will start doing the flowers like I'll show you. So what changes between the necklace is how the flower is made, because you have more petals. And then you will be adding 30 beads just for the beginning of the necklace, whereas each flower is separated by 15 beads and not 30, so that they're closer together and the necklace looks richer. So right now I'm finishing off my necklace, so I haven't added 30 beads, but I've added 15. And after I've added my strand, I can make my flower. And this, to make your flower, add 5 beads of the color of the petals that you're going to make your next flower. So I'm using green in this case, 5. Then you add the central 6 millimeter crystal Swarovski. You can use any kind of bead as long as it's a size 6 millimeter. It can be faceted or not. I just like using these because they add a little sparkle to my creation. And then you have to go switching direction, go back through with your needle, the first bead of the petals, like I'm doing. Pull tightly because you want these beads to create the half circle that will make your petals around your central bead. And keeping the tension, add another 4 beads of your petals and go back through the 4th bead that you've added close by to the other side of the central bead. As you can see, I'm switching again direction of my thread. I pull tightly and you get a nice and round flower. As you can see from the original, it differentiates because instead of having 7 petals, we actually have 9 because the central bead is so big that you need these extra petals to go around. So that's the little change that there is, other than not making one flower after the next. You could actually make a necklace with all the flowers next to each other without the strands. You just need quite a few beads to make it, but it could be funky. I can see a choker made like this. I think I'll try it out, and you can find it, probably the photo on our social media, so have a look out for it. I like the idea, and I like chokers. I either go really short or go really long with my necklaces. I don't know if you do the same thing. Write to me about it in the comments. Then, going back to our tutorial, sorry, I digressed. We have to finish off our necklaces. So since this was the last flower, we're going to add the initial piece that I was talking about at the beginning. So we're going to add 30 beads of these size 6 seed beads. I've already placed them counted, so I'm just sure that I'm going to add 30 by putting them all on. Always check the number of beads when you're placing so many beads together on your strand after you've actually put them on the string, so that you can make sure that you're making the same number and you're adding them correctly. So 30 of these, it's in the color of the strand, obviously. There we go. As you can see. Voila, same length. And then we actually have to do the loop to add our lobster clasp. So I've actually placed them already here. We need size 8 seed beads because we want a smaller loop to go around. So we're going to add 3 beads to the thread of the smaller size. Then we're going to pass through the loop of our lobster clasp. And then we're going to add another 3 of these. We're actually using an even number of beads instead of my usual 7 because, as you can see, these size 8 beads don't go through the loop of the clasp. So I want the clasp to remain centered on our beads and on the loop that we will be making with them. That's why I'm using an even number instead of my usual odd one. Then I go back through a few of these beads. I check the tension on my loop. I don't want my loop to be too wide so that I see the string. This is perfect. I'm going to make a knot going under the thread that passes between the 2 beads that I've stopped, like this. Go through the loop that I've actually made and pull tightly. And then I'm going to repeat this. So move along to another few of these. Go under the thread. Make another one. There we go. And now we're going to try and go back through the beads of the size 8 to go towards the loop that we've made, and we're going to go back through the loop. You can see it's coming undone because there's not a lot of structure to this part of the necklace. It's okay, we can fix it. Go back through the other 3. And I'm going to do another knot right here so that it, wait a second, I'm getting trapped with my thread. Here we go. So let me show you. You can see I have 2 threads. I'm going to go in between the 2 threads, not my original one. I actually have 3. Here you go. You see where I'm going through? to catch both threads, go through the loop, and then I'm going to pull tightly so that I pull everything together, and you can see how the loop has tightened up, and so has my strand. And then I'll move along to get out, move along, and we can actually close off this thread. Ambulance was coming by, so I had to stop the video. So I'm gonna finish off this thread. So I'm gonna make another knot just to be safe. You know, I like extra knots along the way. I just wanna be safe, better safe than sorry. Go back under the thread, get a new loop, go through the loop, and pull tightly. There we go. And then we're gonna move along these last beads of the final strand. And then we'll cut our thread. An important thing that I wanted to show you is that I've actually used 6 beads for the loop on the side of my lobster clasp, but for my jump ring, since it's bigger, I've actually used my usual 7. So that's what you have to take into account. When you're using the jump ring, use 7 beads for the loop, for the final loop, so that it gets covered well, the thread. And that's our necklace all done. So that's all for today, bead friends. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have questions or comments, please write them below. I'm very curious to know which size necklace you prefer. Also, you can find the kits to make the necklace as always on our shop, which is www.happybead.it. You can find all the kits and all our tutorials over there as well. Make sure that you've actually clicked the bell under the tutorial to make sure that you get all the notifications and you've signed up to the channel to know when a new tutorial comes up. If you like the tutorial, please click like so that many people can see it and enjoy it just as well as you. And if you want, you can follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram as Happy Bead Milano and on Facebook as Happy Bead La Fabbrica delle Perline. Thank you. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.